Hi guys, Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in Lucca, Italy, and what I wanted to do is give you guys some things that you should think about, because I get a lot of comments on here and a lot of emails about, well Mark, I want to work abroad, I want to live abroad, what should I do? And people are really gung-ho, because everyone thinks, oh, I'm going to go to Rome, and I'm going to go to Berlin, and everything's going to be great. Guys, this video is about the 10 things that you should consider before you live or work abroad. Now, the first thing you need to consider when you're thinking about living abroad is ask yourself, are you ready for it? Because guys, studying abroad is not eating pizza in Rome every day and drinking beer in Berlin every day. Though you do eat a lot of pizza when you are living in Rome, and you do drink a lot of beer when you're living in Berlin. Take my word for it, okay? But it's not just that. You have to look at yourself and say, wait, can I live abroad? Can I be away from my family? Can I be away from all the things I'm used to? Can I get away from my culture? All these kind of things. And it's not for everyone. I mean, I've done it for 13 years straight, and I loved it. Because I've always gone to new cultures, new places. I lived in Germany, I lived in Brazil, I lived in Portugal, I lived in Lithuania, Finland, all kinds of places. And every time it was a different experience. And each one of those experiences prepared me for the next time abroad and made it easier for the next time. But again, you always have to ask yourself, am I ready for it? Is this for me? Because a lot of times we fall in love with the idea of, oh, I'm going to work in London, I'm going to work in Berlin. The thing is, guys, working in Berlin, you still have to pay your taxes, you still have to have your apartment, you still have to do all the normal stuff as you do back home. It's just now you have another language and a whole other set of tax codes to deal with. Okay, so that's the first thing. Ask yourself, are you really ready to work abroad? The second thing you need to ask yourself about working abroad is, will this hinder or help my career? Okay, this is one that's near and dear to my heart because I did my PhD in Portugal. Okay, now working in Europe, that's not a really big deal. It's fine. It's a really good university. I had a really good PhD, great coordinator. Thanks, Eduardo. You know, it was a great time. I had a great time. It was great fun. But coming back to the U.S., people go, Portugal, PhD, what's that? And not just studying wise, because they'd say, oh, is it going to help you, hurt you? Though it's a pretty dang good university where I went. You still have to worry about, is this going to help me or hurt me? Now, in corporations, if your corporation's sending you abroad, usually that's a good sign. But you don't want to you do not want to let them forget you. Because I have had friends that have gone abroad and they've been kind of forgotten, and then when they try to come back, basically they lose their job. Okay? So look at the position you're going to be doing there, and is it going to help advance your career or hold back your career? The third thing you have to consider when you're moving abroad is, do you have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or more importantly, a spouse? Because guys, a lot of times what happens with guys or gals or whatever, when you do go abroad, your family goes with you. Okay? You can get the work permit. Your wife or husband, they might not be able to get it. How is that going to affect your relationship? Okay? Because if they can't work, yes, you can stay home with your kids for a while, but then eventually you go crazy, you want to do something. Alright? You know, and it's tough. Alright, you have to see, what are they going to do? What are the options that they have? Okay, if they have their career of their own, maybe you guys do a two-continent relationship. I don't know, but that is going to be one of the biggest things, because living abroad, moving abroad, taking your family with you, and if your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever, they do not have the same job or opportunities, that can really destroy your relationship. Or maybe eventually get a job. I know with my wife, it took her 13 months of living in Portugal before she got permission to work. Okay, so you have to think about these things. So a lot of times your company will be helping, and your school, if you're going to school, will help you get your visa, but getting your kids or your wife or your husband their stuff, then that's all on you, and you'll be the one sitting at the foreigner office for 6 hours trying to get this done. Take my word for it. It sucks, but it's part of the experience. Okay. Number 4, let's go back to your career. Look at this position you're going for. How does it fit in your career path? Is it a progression? You know, for example, I did my master's in Germany because I wanted to show companies that I really wanted to be international by getting a degree there, not just studying a semester there where I'm drinking beer and having a great time and not studying. I wanted to get a degree there, so it was part of my progression to do that. Then I did my PhD in Portugal. There's all kinds of things. Now, but you look at it, you want to make sure that this position you have, it is part of the stepping stone. If it's not part of your career path, then you need to accept that this is not part of your career path. This is you going to live abroad and having fun and be able to say, oh yes, I lived in Italy for 2 or 3 years, which is cool, but you have to realize that that can't, again, going back to it, hinder or help your career. Make sure that this is part of your career path, okay? That should influence your decision. Number 5 in the things you should consider before living or working abroad is, do you know the country you're moving to? You know, I've lived in Portugal. I lived in Portugal for 5 years. Okay, I visited Portugal 6 times before I went there, and I loved it. It was a great time. Had so much fun, all kinds of stuff. My 5 years there, yes, I had a great time, but then I didn't see the little things, the bureaucracy, the slow pace of things. I didn't really get to see it because I was a tourist. Just because you go somewhere as a tourist has nothing to do with you going to work in that country. And you need to realize, how does that country work? How does that culture work? All of this, okay? That all should be influencing where or if you should take that position or where you should go, okay? And so I highly recommend doing these books. They're called Culture Shock. You can read up on it to understand how the culture is, because, you know, you may say, oh, it's no big deal going to this country X. Well, it might be for you, okay? So you definitely want to check that out. Number 6 on our list is, how is your contract set up? I mean, if the contract is just your salary, well, you know what? You're going to have to start a whole new life in another country. You can't take your computer, well, your laptop, but you can't take your computer, well, you could, but there's no point to it. You know, taking all your furniture and all these things, you can't really do. All right, you have to start from scratch. What are they going to give you? What are the expat benefits? Are they going to give you your apartment? Are they going to give you extra money to set up things? Or are you just coming there as nothing? These are things that become a big problem, because I lived in Europe for 13 years, Europe and South America. I moved back to the U.S. this past August, and I had nothing. Like, I don't even have a bed. Okay, I had suitcases and clothes and masks from all over the world, and I had to buy everything new, and that can be very expensive. Make sure your contract is set up that it will help take care of your moving in costs. Moving your stuff there, or resettling, kind of giving yourself a quality of life that you're used to, okay? So make sure your contract's set up that way. Also look at, are they going to send you home? Will they bring your family over? Will they send your kids back over there? There's all kinds of little things that might come involved, so make sure you read the fine print of the contract and ask for some of those extra things, okay? Number 7 in things you need to consider before you go abroad is the pay. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you, you can live in different countries and pay will make a difference. Portugal, I made a third of what I make in the US, and I had about the same quality of life, but in Rome, where they get paid about the same as Portugal, I would live like a pauper and I couldn't support my family. Pay is a really big thing. Especially, I mean, if you're going to Luanda, which is one of the most expensive places as an expat to go, when you have to pay like 3,000 euros for protection, these things will eat up your money, okay? So you got to make sure that you're actually making the pay to cover, so you can at least have the same quality of life as you had before. Yes, we will make sacrifices when we go live abroad, but it's not all sacrifice. It should be work and pleasure and fun and experiencing these things, okay? So make sure the pay is equivalent. Now, when you do go abroad, pay sometimes will be adjusted up because they give the expats benefits, and sometimes it will be adjusted down because, hey, you're going to Portugal and we don't pay as much, so you don't need as much. These things are things you have to consider. Number 8 on our list is health concerns. Do you have heart problems? Do you have breathing problems? Have you had cancer? Have you had a heart attack? There's all kinds of these little things that, you know, you think, oh, my doctor's here will take care of that. When you're abroad, it's a different system. Okay? If you're going to go abroad, know what country you're going to go to, and I highly recommend, if you have any issues. Me, I was born with 2 holes in my heart, so I go see a cardiologist and I talk to him. Where should I go if this happens? He gave me a list of doctors in Germany, in Portugal, Brazil when I lived there. He gave me, this is where you should go. He had these things. So if you have specific health issues, make sure you talk to your doctor in the U.S. or your home country about the country you're going to and what they could do to help you, to give you information, okay? Because if you have major health concerns, sometimes it's not worth taking the risk of going abroad because, you know, for example, my wife, we had, our second son was born in Portugal. She was on 4 months bed rest. They thought he was going to come 4 months early. Okay, actually they thought he was going to come 5 months early. So, you know, do you want your kid to be in the NICU? Do you want to deal with these things? I mean, it gets kind of scary. Okay, so health issues is a very big thing you have to consider. Number 9. learning a different language. Guys, you can say, oh, well, you can live in Berlin, and you can live in Lisbon, and you can live in Finland, and you can live in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I've lived in all those places, and you can speak English all the time without a problem. But if you really want to integrate into the culture and understand what's going on, you have to learn the language and learn the culture when you're there. Are you ready for that? Are you the people that say, oh, they don't speak English, so I'm not going to go there? Guys, if that has ever come out of your mouth or a spouse's mouth or anyone's mouth that you don't go abroad, because you have to learn the local language. Otherwise you will have a horrible experience, or at least not experience that won't be anywhere near as good as it should be. You won't understand the actual culture, and also the people you work with that are the locals will resent you. Because that's one thing. When I worked in Lithuania, I learned Lithuanian, and people were so happy about it. In Portugal and Brazil, I learned Portuguese, and people were like, oh, you really get it. You're here for us. You're not just using us. I mean, it was one of these great things. So make sure, if number 9 is be ready to learn a foreign language and learn about this new culture. And number 10, in terms of things you need to consider about working and studying abroad or living abroad, is the visa requirements. Guys, we'd all like to live in Rome, but you know what? Rome doesn't want all of us to go there. If you don't have specialty skills, like master's or a PhD or at least a master's, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get a job abroad if you're going directly abroad. Now, my advice to you, if you want to go abroad, is if you find a company that works internationally, that sends their people abroad. If you do that, it's going to give you a better chance of getting sent abroad. You're applying for the job, talk to them about these things. Talk to your boss, find these things out. Because once you get it, you can get the visa. The company will help because you have to have the contract and the insurance and all this other BS that goes with getting the visas to work there. Okay? So, again, the top 10 things you should consider before you live abroad. Okay, from here in Lucca, Italy. Number 1, are you ready to live abroad? Ask yourself all the things that are involved. Are you actually ready for it? Or is it just the idea of working abroad that gets you? Number 2 on our list, will working abroad help or hinder your career? Number 3, how will your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend, what will they do when you go abroad? Will they live, will they work? How are they going to get by? Number 4, what's your career path and how does this working abroad fit into there? Number 5, do you really know the country and culture that you're going to go to? Do the research beforehand. Number 6, how is the contract set up? Are they going to help you get settled in the country, move you there, or is it all on your own? Okay. Number 7 on our list, the pay. What's the pay going to be? Are you going to have the same quality of life, lower, higher, these kind of things? Okay. Number 8, health concerns. If you have any health concerns, please go to your healthcare provider. Talk to them about living abroad, the country you're going to go to, so you can get doctors that can help you with your condition if you have any. Okay. Number 9 on our list is, are you ready to learn a new language and live in another culture and not always be my way is the right way? Because guys, here's a little thing. You never say something's wrong when you live abroad. You say it's different. Okay? And the 10th thing you need to be concerned about when you're going to go work abroad or live abroad is the visa requirements. Do you meet them? There's somebody that can help you get your visa. Okay? So I hope this helps, and I hope this answers the question to a lot of people that write me asking me, Mark, how do you live in 9 countries over all these years and travel all these kind of things? These are a lot of things that I consider myself before I go anywhere, and I really think that's something you should as well. So have a great living abroad, or traveling abroad, or whatever. If you want to learn more about living abroad, if living in Europe, South America, North America, wherever, check us out at our website, www.woltersworld.com. And I'm going to go enjoy some wine and a good time here in Lucca. So see you later, and please like and favorite this video, and I hope you subscribe to learn more about traveling and living in Europe. Bye.